So this video is to help you set up my breakout game called The Missing Assignment. This is the first time I've ever done this, so bear with me. I designed this game to be used with middle school students. I teach math, so this game has particular focus of math, but not all the puzzles are necessarily math related. And I have to have students do this game during kind of a homeroom period, which is only 38 minutes long. So they essentially are going to have 30 minutes on the timer to solve the puzzle. And if you wanted to make it longer, if you wanted to make it 45 minutes or an hour, there are certainly lots of ways that you could change things up and make things a little bit more difficult so that it would take longer. But I'm going to attempt to give them just 30 minutes. I did have a group of teachers try this out, and they solved the puzzle in 23 minutes. So I think it'll be pretty close for the students. So this game called Missing Assignment, it starts with a letter, and you hand this to the kids, and one of them reads it out loud. It says, "It's the last week of the quarter. In 5 days, your grades will be final, printed, and sent home to your parents. You check the grade book and find out that you're missing an assignment that is worth 80% of your grade. If you don't get this assignment to your teacher in the next 30 minutes, your teacher will not accept it and you will receive an F." For most middle school students, this is pretty important topic, and so it gets them excited. It says, "You reach into your binder to get the assignment to find that in its place is the following letter. Looking for something? An important assignment? Well, I've hidden it. Chances are that you will not get it back in time, so you may want to consider the following excuses for your teacher. My dog ate it. The wind blew it away. My dad was testing out his new shredder. I locked it up in my safe, but I forgot the combination. You do have 30 minutes, but it will be a miracle if you retrieve it in time. Good luck." And then you start the timer. So this is my final breakout box. I have been working on escape room puzzles for a while, and so instead of buying the breakout kit, I had almost everything sourced myself. So this is my breakout box, my final box, and on it I have a directional lock, I have a 4-digit number lock, I have the 5-letter word lock, and then I just have a little lock that needs a key. And I've put those on hasps, and I just put 2 hasps on there because if I put one, the box tends to fall over lopsided. So I just wanted to balance it out with 2 locks on each side because it's pretty heavy. So you can do that any way you want. You can add more locks, you can take away locks, whatever. So the letter has clues to get them started on the puzzles. And because I only have 30 minutes, I just kind of set most of the stuff out on tables. I don't take time to hide it particularly because it's going to take them most of that time to solve the puzzles. And I don't want them wasting time looking for things. But if you wanted to do 45 minutes or an hour, you could certainly hide things, and that would fill up more time if they had to find them. So back to the letter, we have the 4 excuses, okay? The first excuse, my dog ate it, okay? So that's a hint that they're going to do something related to a dog. And I made this into puzzle cubes, and you certainly don't have to do this. I did this because I'm going to be repeating this game over and over and over with lots of students pretty much throughout the whole school, and I wanted them to be a little bit more durable. And so I took my puzzles and I cut them up and I decoupaged them on to these blocks that I just got at a store. But you could certainly just copy and copy double-sided and just, you know, scatter the pieces or hide the pieces or just lay them on the table, whatever you want to do. So the clue was my dog ate my homework. And if you look at the pieces, some of them seem to have animal parts. There's the other one. And then some of them have letters. And it's much easier to solve if the kids start with the animal parts. And so what they need to do is turn them all over, and the brown one are the dog pieces. And then when they find them all, they're going to put them together into the dog puzzle, which looks like, sorry, I'm trying to do the puzzle and hold the camera at the same time. Over there, over there, and over there. Looks like this. And so you could just print out this picture, and then you could photocopy the words onto the opposite side of the picture. What I did is, once they take this picture of the dog and they lift it up, and I don't know if I can do this with one hand. Let me see if I can set down the camera for a second and flip it over. All right. So when they flip them over, or when they hold them up to a teammate, on the opposite side of the dog, it says Wally, W-A-L-L-Y. And this is the first lock, the four-letter word lock here on this final box. If you spell out Wally, this lock will open. And to kind of deter the kids, throw them off a little bit, make sure they're paying attention, these blocks also create a cat. So just to give this a little bit more sense of fun for my kids. It also creates a cat, and if you flip it over, it has a completely different name that you can also make on the word lock. It just won't open it because it's not the right combination. The dog is the only right combination because of the clue. And then I also have, if I flip them up one more time, a fish. So they can make 3 different puzzles, but only the dog is actually going to give them the right name to open this lock here. All right. So the next puzzle that the kids have to find has to do with the excuse, the wind blew it away. And they will find this already set up on the table, or again, if you want to make it a little harder, then you can separate these things and they'll have to find them and realize that they go together. But I only have 30 minutes, so I'm just going to set them together on the table. And what we have here is we have a world map that has longitude and latitude. And then again, to help the students, I highlighted the compass because that's going to be an important part of this. So I just highlighted northeast, southwest. And then I wanted to make sure that the kids didn't take this out of the plastic because they're going to write on it, and I wanted to reuse it many times. So I just wrote, do not remove. They have a paper worksheet here that has mathematical clues to giving them missing coordinates. And so they solve all the math problems and they figure out the different locations. And then the last location they should end up in is Seattle, which is where I live close to. And then you could use like the, I think it's like the 3-digit pencil box. I'm just using these little fabric bags that I found for like $1 at the craft store. And then I've attached an additional word lock to it. So if they do all the math correctly and they find the right coordinates on the map, basically it will start over here in Tokyo, and then it will go down to Madagascar, then up to Iceland, then down to Lima, Peru, and then up to Seattle. And when they connect the points, if they look closely where they're going, it will make a giant W, okay? And since I've highlighted this, W stands for west, and west is the word that they need to open this bag. Inside the bag is a key, the key that opens this lock right here on the final breakout box. And then also inside the bag is the UV flashlight, because they're going to need that for another one of the clues. All right, we're on to the third excuse. My dad was testing out his new shredder. All right, so what I did was I took just some non-important and non-private documents and shredded them into long strips, set them into this Ziploc baggie. And you might notice if you look really carefully, there are only 4 colored strips that stand out, and they're going to need those. It actually matches the 4 colors on the sticker outside the bag. There is also a number 2 pencil inside the bag, okay? So I just bundled all of this together, and since it's nice and safe inside this Ziploc baggie, I just stick this baggie inside my recycle bin in the classroom, and this is actually the only thing that they have to actually search for and find, but it's kind of all ready to go, so it's pretty obvious that this is what they're looking for. And when they open it up, they can dump out the contents. Kind of makes a mess, but that's all right. It was better than doing the cross shredder and having tiny pieces everywhere. And hopefully they notice that they're looking for these 4 laminated strips that match the colors that are on the outside of the Ziploc baggie. So these 4 colors here: pink, green, blue, gold, and we've got pink, green, blue, and gold. Okay. Then there was also this pencil in there, and I've written on the pencil in Sharpie, you can see it, "Wrap around me." So this is one of those puzzles where they have to wrap these at a certain angle, and when they wrap them up, right now they just look like gibberish. They have all these letters, but if they wrap them correctly, they figure out that they spell out numbers. And when they're put in this order, they will open up the 4-digit lock that's on the main box. I think this one says 8, and this one says 5, and this one says 7, and this one says 3. And then they would put those numbers into the 4-digit lock to open that up. All right, the very last excuse says, "I locked it up in my safe, but I forgot the combination." And laying on a table is this box. It's just a very simple toolbox. And I've printed and taped to the top "Mathematicians Safe Company, estimated 570 BC." Or established 570 BC. And it has a 3-digit lock on that. So Mathematicians Safe. And they could either have this laying on the table. I put them up on the board, so they actually have to go and kind of look around the room for this. But this is a collection of famous mathematicians. Got Pythagoras, Euclid, Archimedes, and so on. And the safe says that this company, this safe company, was established in 570 BC. So if they look back on here, Pythagoras was born in about 570 BC. So that's leading us to Pythagoras. Then also on the board, I have this paper, which has a lot of mathematical formulas. We've got perimeter and circumference and area of a circle and so on. And when they look down at the bottom, they find the Pythagorean theorem. So they need to link Pythagoras to the Pythagorean theorem. And it says A equals 3, B equals 4, C equals what? and it gives them the theorem, because I do have a few 6th graders, 7th graders that don't know this theorem yet. Even my 8th graders don't really know it yet, because we get it to it later in the year. But they all know what squared means, and they should be able to follow the formula. A squared plus b squared equals c squared. So they know a is 3, b is 4, they plug them in, they figure out c. It ends up being 5. This is one of those Pythagorean triplets, 3, 4, 5. And they put 3, 4, 5 into this. Let me go ahead and try to do that with one hand. All right, and sorry, let me put that down. 3, 4, 5, there we go. And they open it up, and inside is a yellow cardboard rectangle with tape around it. It says do not remove, because I do not want them to take it out of the box. I want it to stay there for all the games. But it really looks like nothing. But if you remember, over here in this bag, we had a UV black light. And if you run the black light over this yellow paper, it will have arrows. And the arrows are the last clue for the directional lock that's over here. And they just follow the direction of the arrows, and then that one pops open. I made this on yellow paper because originally when I tested it with teachers, I put it on white paper and they could see the UV pen. I guess I didn't buy a very good brand. They could see without even using the UV flashlight. So I'm going to try this out because I have pretty good eyesight and I cannot see any arrows at all. And hopefully this will be much better and force them to use that flashlight. So they know that this is the name of the dog. They got the key from the little baggie over there doing the map. They got these 4 digits from doing the shredded paper, and they got the directions from opening the mathematician's safe. And then when they open this up, inside I've put a printout of a very, very complicated math assignment to make them feel like they really got their very important math assignment back. And there's also a little sign inside that says congratulations. So that's my game. I hope you guys like it. I hope you get a chance to try it perhaps. And please give me any feedback you have on how it goes or changes that you're making. Thank you.